wanted to speak to me?
야, 이건 패션 뭐야 이거?
It's a dangerous world out there, and not just against machines. Name's Oder. This here's my training pit. Best place to practice close combat this side of the Forbidden West. Say, I wonder who'd win in a fight. You, the savior of Meridian, champion of the East, or the Enduring, master of the West.
Who?
The Enduring, a legendary Tenakth fighter, the master of masters. I've heard the Tenakth have training pits just like this one. It's how the warriors get so fierce, see? And only the very best from the pits get to train with the Enduring.
So, to find the Enduring, I should look for these training pits if I'm ever out that way?
You'll have to go far if you do. The Tenakth are split into
재밌겠다 이거.
three clans,
네, 많이
three
달라요.
capitals, three training pits. My guess is
전투와
all of you
근접과
want to train with
원거리의
the Enduring.
연계술.
If the Tenakth don't kill you on sight, that is. But that's a far spark in the wind. As for right now, I also offer challenges to test your fighting skill.
Who would I be fighting exactly? You?
Well, I know you're the savior and all, but you have to beat all the others first to challenge me. Rules are rules. We only use dual blades and practice arrows, mind.
훈련용 화살도 쓸 수 있구나.
Through otherwise. You have to leave everything but your spear and practice arrows at the gate. But I'll look after you. Work. So, what do you say? Up for some training?
I might be.
That's what I like to hear.
오케이. 튜토리얼. 연습. 이거 뭐 보상 있는 건가 이거?
You think your spear can deal with that armor? Use attacks to energize your spear. Then hit your opponent with a heavy or power attack to blast the armor off.
콤보는 에너지를 더 빨리 줘. 충전이 되는 거야 이게 뭐야? 됐다.
Energy doesn't last forever. Shoot the glowing part of your opponent before the energy fades.
얘는 말 그대로 여기가 튜토리얼이네. 저렇게 빛나는구나 파랗게.
That spear can give you the edge in battle. Keep energizing it and
야,
bend your
시간
enemies.
1초 남았어.
Triggering those energy blasts should help you vanquish your opponents.
처음에 저게 충전되는지 안 되는지 몰라가지고. 방어 파쇄? 아, 이거 다 기술을 배워야 되는구나. 있나? 레벨 32. 와우. 일단 대충 활도 강화했겠다. 서브캐 받아보자. 아, 얘가 올분드야? 아니, 잡았는데? 아, 제가 오른쪽에 있는 애가 올분드구나.
If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of importance to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the savior herself, Walloper of Derval, got her.
아, 데드발이었구나. 전작 그 악당이.
I've heard many
데드발.
tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior.
미모는 아닌데.
At your service. So,
근데 이마에 저것만 씌워놔도 되게 괜찮게 변했다.
Smudge of a settlement. Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and...
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah.
저거 없을 때는 엄청 돌 빵빵처럼 보였는데.
That means you'll be moving on.
Once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, best get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy-robed parchment pusher when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
How noble of you.
Noble, ha! Born with a hammer in hand, I was.
망치를
Nobody handed
접할자.
me anything or
포로야?
brought opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The burden of leadership forced me to set it aside. The Carja
근데 생각보다 별로 안 이상해요.
that good Osram gamble with their lives out.
근데 저 이마에 쓴 거 저거 없었을 때는 좀 진짜 확실히 못생겨 보였는데 저 이마에 저것만 달아놔도 되게
Where's the
괜찮은데.
whistle?
시선이 분산돼서 그런가?
I'm not endangering innocent Osram lives.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is going to get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle.
브리슬백.
See what that Carja magistrate will
브리슬백. 쟤가 도대체 뭐길래 다들 브리슬백 거리는 거지? 레벨 7. 일단 서브캐 다 받고 이거도 해보자. 미확인 기계 스트라이크. 이게 뭐야? 집 안에 있는 건가? 밀드프?
Hey, Mildef. Mildef. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
뭐지? 얘 음식을 먹으면 버프 받고 막 이러는 건가?
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. I constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
울분드.
And if you refuse?
I make meals, not trouble.
Your
내가
last customer
해결해주지.
mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly.
But
But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Olvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients. A few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big
스닙삭
handful of
약초.
leaf stems.
저거는 내가 몇 개
That'll do.
주웠는데.
As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way.
나 멧돼지 몇 마리 잡았어.
As much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Smilduff. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like,
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
if you say so.
한농금에. 오케이.
Already got enough meat and bitter leaf. Just need to grab a metal panel from the scrounger pile.
이것은 무엇인가? 미확인 기계 스트라이크. 애초에 수렵 드랍은 문제가 안 돼요 이제 더 이상. 왜냐면은 가방에 한계가 없어졌기 때문이죠. 이제 보관함으로 다 들어가기 때문에 솔직히 뭐 조금 안 나오더라도 상관없어요. 와, 미니게임인가 이거?
Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
일단 초반이라 가지고 근접 기술을 제대로 못 익혀서 좀 비스무리하긴 해요. 근데 제가 어제 아무튼 스킬 다 훑어봤는데 재밌는 스킬도 되게 많아요.
I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards too.
오호. 이거 뭐 그건가 이거? 그 뭐냐 초심자의 튜토리얼 이게 뭐야?
Alright, let's start off simple.
오
It's
이거
enough
뭐야?
to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a type
오
of
이거
machine,
재밌을 것 같아.
and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner?
VP1.
That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move,
오.
how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from,
오. 난 이게 더 관심이 많이 가는데?
Okay, that's enough.
이제 하루 종일 이것만 찾아다니겠구만 이제.
I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward.
얘도 두 칸 이동할 수 있구나. 일단
Remember,
두 칸.
each
오.
machine can only take a look at your notes if you need a reminder.
오.
Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round. So go
두 개 하나로 두 개는 안 되나?
perfect. There's not much else to
과부하는
do
뭐야?
for now, so just end your turn.
과부하는 체력을 소모하고 더 움직이는 건가 이거? 회전은 뭐야?
We're
일단 턴
forging
종료
onwards.
해보자.
Let me move
알려주겠지.
my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat.
아, 지형도
Your
있어?
current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power.
아, 공격할 때는
Just like
공격
your
표현하고
machine, it's
방어할
not
땐
affected
저렇게
by grassland
표현되는구나.
terrain. So right now, the difference in
벤트보다는
combat
확실히
between the two
복잡해
machines
보여요.
is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that?
그런 것 같아요.
Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punches, huh?
오,
Now, see how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out.
질주?
Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean.
한 번 더 공격할 수 있는 거구나,
That's
이렇게.
about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it.
어?
Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot.
이거 방어도 있어?
Red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece.
캔슬은 못 하는 거야, 이거? 얘로 조정하고 싶은데.
You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a
근데 그럼
second
같이 죽는 거 아니야?
And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes that can be a good thing.
그럴 수 있지.
Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you what I mean. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines
아,
worth.
죽은 거
Good news
맞긴
is,
하구나.
since you're the one attacking, you're going to receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points
아,
first.
6대 6일 때.
Sometimes losing a piece can be the
아,
best way
오케이,
to
오케이.
end the game in
오케이,
your
yes.
Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner.
7점을 안 따도 다 하면은.
Just remember,
와, 이게 말이 몇 개까지 나올지 모르겠지만.
you'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that.
근데 확실히 괜트처럼 단순한 게임은 아닌 것 같아요. 게임이 어려워요.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces.
지형도 있고 약점도 있으면.
Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be. It should be enough to get you in on any striking.
이게 그럼 썬더조도 있고 막 그런 건가? 와, 씨, 너무 좋은데?
For them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor. They'll need the right
오.
materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. You know, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now,
진짜 잘
playing
만들었다.
a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
나 이제 무조건 이거 찾아다녀야겠다. 지형 및 밀어내기 튜토리얼. 기계 유형 및 기계 기술 튜토리얼. 와, 이거 지형 복잡한 거 봐. 오. 해봅시다.
Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat.
저는 이 보드게임만 해도 일단 최소 80은 강 줄 수 있을 것 같아요. 나머지 다 필요 없고 이것만 해도 80은 줄 수 있을 것 같은데.
So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines.
아, 이런 식으로 약점을 보호할 수도 있구나.
Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has 3 points of combat power. My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack powers since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it. Which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points.
어려워.
If you compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage. But knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well.
이 게임이 진짜 엄청 복잡한데?
Great way to deal damage to several pieces at once.
잘 만들었다. 단순한 게 아니고 되게 고심해서 만든 것 같아. 아니면 원래 이런 보드 게임이 있는 건가?
Alright, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
어려워요. 진짜 엄청 어려운 것 같아요, 게임이.
Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. Alright, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards.
안녕하세요.
See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot.
밀고 이렇게 올라오네.
Great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at.
돌진
Now
타입.
this is a beauty of a piece, a dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races.
진짜 엄청 어려운 것 같아요.
Finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list.
성공했어요.
All the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
어렵다. 솔직히 처음에 할 땐 그냥 뭐라고 해야 되지? 그냥 맨 땅에 헤딩하듯 그냥 할 것 같아요. 게임이 너무 어렵다.
Here we go. That's it for me.
괜히 이렇게 났나?
I'm up.
센터를 먹는 자가 별로 안 좋다. 나 니가 할래.
Let's see.
제가 먹어버렸네.
You're up, Red.
오케이. 똑같은 지형이면 뭐. 오케이. 오케이.
One piece left.
처음엔 역시 단순하구만.
My turn.
얘는 왜 두 번 공격해?
Knocked right off the board.
아, 이 턴이 2개 남아서 그렇구나. 아니, 이러면은 곤란한데? 잠깐만.
Time to make my move.
오케이. 아, 2번 이동할 수 있지. 맞아. 아,
Guess
뭐야?
luck's not on your side today, Red.
얘 몇 번 공격하는겨, 얘.
Good luck.
어려운데?
Your move, Red. Time to get serious. Board's all yours.
오케이. 아, 이동하자마자 공격하는 게 있구나.
Ah,
Ah,
not
boy.
that easy to get through my machine's armor, is it? A single
Okay.
machine left? That ain't good.
잠깐만, 여기로 가면 얘는 오른쪽으로 와서 공격할 거란 말이죠. 그러면 좋지 않은데. 아니, 별로 다 지형이 얘한테만 유리하다. 그래도 공격하자.
Armor is
Yeah,
your
Jim.
best friend in this game, I'm telling you.
아, 이럴 줄 알았어.
Okay.
사나 돼 저게?
I won.
야, 진짜. 야, 이러는 게 어딨어 이거.
Let's play. Your move, Red. Time to make my move. You're up, Red.
얘도 두 칸이니까.
Time to get serious. Board's all yours. My turn. Your turn. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the flow.
오케이, 이거 내가 이겼어 이거.
Look,
아니, 그냥 가보아에서 죽일 걸. 얘 근데 공격을 안 하네.
that's it for me. Oh, I thought I had
오케이,
that one.
이겼다. 아니, 근데 이런 단순한 것도 이기기가 힘드네. 아, 이걸 4개를 다 해야 브리슬백 저걸 피스를 준다는 거구나. 기술 포인트도 있네.
This is gonna be fun.
랜선 충돌 타입. 양옆이 다 약점이네. 이게 밀어내는 거였나? 타격.
Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. Time to get serious.
어.
Your turn. Ah, off the board it goes.
잠깐만. 망했네. 나 왜 여기로 내려왔냐?
Your move, Red.
밀어내고 차지하는 건데 좋은 그게 아니야.
Oh, you hit that weak spot all right.
어차피 내비둬도 안 될 것 같아요. 같이 죽자.
One less piece on the board. My turn.
와.
That's done now. That's it for me. You got me down to one piece. I am impressed.
예스.
Got me.
예스.
Fair and square.
승리. 뭔가 뭔지 모르겠지만 이겼다.
Let's do this.
스크라운저. 이동을 많이 할 수 있네요. 그리고 피통도 많네. 그리고 VP도 다 1이고. 그러면은 버로우를 쓸 이유가 있나?
You're up, Red.
스크라운저.
Your turn.
여기로 온다고? 데미지 2주잖아. 못 죽이네 그럼 결국엔. 절로 데리고 괜히 절로 갔나봐.
I'm up. You're up, Red.
잠깐만. 차근차근 하나씩 죽이자.
Now that was a smart move.
오케이, 안 죽을 것 같아요.
It's my move.
아닌가? 다행이다. 오케이.
Knocked right off.
오. 여기까지 올 수 있는데 안 오겠지? 하나, 둘, 셋. 아, 여기도 올 수 있네. 얘를 살짝 빼면서 얘 공격하자.
Off the board it goes.
그다음에
Time to get serious. Board's all yours. Thank the forge you hit armor.
뭐야? 또 움직여야 돼?
Hey, I like that piece where it was. Well, that's done now.
내가 이긴 것 같다.
My turn. One less piece on the board. Guess I shouldn't have left that weak.
오케이, 나의 승리다.
Looks like I lost.
와, 기술 포인트? 아, 3명. 얘는 그 중에 한 명이고. 아이, 뭐야. 아, 선택할 수 있는 거구나, 이제. 어떻게 빼는 거야? 하... 자, 어? 아, 여긴 또 스크래퍼네. 아까 걔는 그것도 적어도 1이라서 좋았는데 7포인트라. 저게 뭐야? 초원 지역인가 이게? 초록색이? 초원이 저거 삼림, 초원 삼림. 초원이랑 삼림이 맞네? 삼림이 산악인가? 아니네, 이건 또 다르네. 산악이랑 삼림은 또 다르네요. 언덕이 4개. 산악은 없으니까 얘를 집어넣어야겠다. 오케이.
Let's do this.
도로 양쪽에 하나씩 두고 충돌시킬 수 있는 애들도 하나씩 두고.
Your move, Red.
도로. 얘는 스크라운드 좋은 거 주네. 보자. 1, 2, 3. 여기 부분까지. 얘로 여기 먹고. 블리스벨. 턴이 시작될 때마다 공격 범위 내에 있는 모든 피스의 체력이 1 감소합니다. 개사기네.
Okay, let's see. That's it for me.
어떻게든 얘를 빨리 조져야 되네.
Time to make my move. That was brutal.
진거
One
같은데.
less piece on the board.
이거 넘어서도 공격이 되나 이거? 되네.
Well, that's
Okay.
done now. That's it for me. Off the board it goes. Knocked right off the board.
옆구리 공격 당하기 전에 일단 잡고.
That was brutal.
랜수.
What a hit! You're up, Red. Well, spark my forge. You have beaten me on every one of my
오케이,
boards.
이겼다.
Now that deserves a prize, I say.
오. 야, 이거 진짜 근데 재밌는데요, 이거?
You know where to find me, Red.
해보니까 그리고 그냥 막, 아예 생각을 안 하는 것도 아니지만 그냥 대충 해도 되는 것 같아서 재밌는 것 같아요. 너무 마냥 어렵지도 않아서. 이건 뭐야? 포션? 얘도 일단 대회가 안 되네. 아까 갑옷도 안 되더니만. 일단은 저 퀘스트 마저 받자. 마저 받고 아까 동굴 있는데 하고 싶었거든요. 이제는 대회 되네.
Can I still use the workbench?
아, 상점이 닫은 거구나.